Good morning, beautiful Thursday morning, the 12th of August 2021. How are you doing all? Hope we all woke up like I usually ask on the right side of our minds this morning. The world, the country may not be, giving us enough reasons to want to take, issues headlong, but because sincerely you me, we are Nigerians, resilient, energetic, um, ever, ever positive Nigerians. We have to do everything possible to make the best of every situation and the best of our day, even in the midst of the what my literature teacher used to call the hula baloo of what is happening around us. My name is Tony, and it's a pleasure being here with you again this beautiful, beautiful Thursday morning. Onome Idu joins me this morning on the bumper breakfast. Onome, good morning. How are you doing today?
Tony. I'm good.
It's a pleasure having you on bumper. What do we do to keep you here? Do we need to give you
Where?
an award?
Like running away and coming back.
Maybe we just look for award, or maybe I just look for king. I think the king part would be better. Something like what my mother would do for your kind of offenses, the Pankere kind of offense. If you now do another disappearing act, it will graduate to the Koboko kind of offense. So since you already know that there's a Bara, Iladi, Ifodi, Ifoju, Ibaju, those ones will not come, but the Pankere will be here. So just really, anytime you see me having Pankere sometime, somewhere beside me,
because of me?
it's because of Mama.
Okay.
Good to have you.
Thank
Good to have you this morning. Of course, I have a guest in the studio this morning. I will take a look at some of the stories together. And of course, I'll be bringing our second guest in the course of the conversation. Mr. Akin Fatunke is here with us this morning. Good morning, Mr. Fatunke. How are you today?
Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Onome.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, Nigeria. It's nice to be here. Fine. I'm feeling great.
I'm glad that you're feeling great. And you know why I'm also glad that you're feeling great? I know that you're already packaging my birthday gift. So makes me gladder. Let's see, gladder. I should have a dictionary. Gladder. Yes, let's take a look at the papers this morning. Let me quickly run through the Guardian newspaper and take a look at some of the stories that made the front page. International Youth Day. Today I was supposed to be dressed like a youth, really like wear all the colors and all that, and I think I'm trying my best. Am I not trying?
Yes, there's
The
green
black,
there.
the blue, the yellow, the red. I'm wearing a red hair. I need to look like my age, and not the mummy kind of age. International Youth Day. More youths take to gambling, cybercrime to escape exclusion. 1 in every 6 unemployed youths globally and Nigerians data suggests chances of survival are slim. Youth influencers insist. Diary. Youth Innovation Catalyst for Development. 5 corporate entities unveil coalition to boost employability. Empower youths to participate in electoral process, leadership, mentoring. Experts weigh costs as federal government plans to unban Twitter. Platform targets 2022 to open the local office. FDI's MSMEs governments badly impacted as losses hit 169 billion naira 69 days after. Experts want investment in indigenous messaging apps. Like which one? Like which one? WHO lists 3 new drugs for testing on COVID-19 patients. How graft unstable economy fuel insecurity by ICPC. Nigeria has never been more divided, says Autumn. And federal government to reintroduce toll plazas on highways, says federal government. The minister, I guess that's coming from Minister for Works or maybe Transportation. Shell agrees to pay Ogoni people 45.9 billion naira compensation. All right, I'll move quickly to the Punch newspaper. The Punch has the banner headline: Recalled envoy diplomat arrived today. Indonesia defends the assault. We shall take action after discussing with the envoy, says the federal government. Nigerian diplomat, the aggressor, elbowed immigration officer. Official, says the ambassador to Indonesia. U.S. Navy officers participating in at-sea training with the Nigerian Navy counterpart during the visit of the USS Hassel Woody Williams to Lagos on Tuesday. Hush puppy, 31 Northern lawyers volunteer to defend Kyari against FBI. Gani Fawemimi's son, Muhammad, dies at 52. That's so sad. Teenage headsmen with AK-47 rifle arrested in Ogu Forest. Police trail gang members. And presidency, George rebukes Tinubu's supporters, recommends checkup. Base man lands in Kirikiri for alleged defilement of 3 underage daughters. Federal government laments as abductors collect extra 24 million naira on Baptist school students. Federal government reintroduces toll plaza, Nigerians to pay 500 naira and 200 naira per trip. NARD strike federal government always breaching agreements, says the NMA. 4,528 Nigerian doctors moved to the UK in 6 years. That's coming from the council. As the naira tumbles to 515 as dollar scarcity persists. Twitter has agreed to set up Nigeria office in 2022. Federal government is telling us that as Shell agrees 45.9 billion naira Ogoni oil spill payments to 10 years after judgment. Let's take a look at the nation.
Okay, on the nation, we have toll payment returns on 5,050 kilometer federal highways, and federal government says the proposal is okay. Implementation starts after completion of project. Federal government, Twitter close to agreement. Muhammad Fawayimi dies at 53. Okorocha loses bid to stop takeover of houses. Others. Shell agrees on 45 billion naira compensation to Ogoni. World Congresses, APC get petitions from 14 states. DSS squeezes former governor, 5 others over anti-Buhari comments. And on Nigerian Tribune, we have court orders Shell to pay Ogoni people 45.9 billion naira in 21 days. Federal government to unban Twitter soon. Lai Mohammed says Twitter has agreed to open office in Nigeria. Oshomole says, I am not plotting to return as APC chairman. Okorocha losses bid to stop demolition of his property in Owerri. How can and when Kyari can be lawfully extradited, Affair says. 18 years after federal government OK's return of toll gates. All disengaged Kaduna workers should be paid appropriate benefits, federal government committee report says. World Health Organization announces 3 new drugs for COVID-19 clinical trials. Hush Puppy, 31 Northern lawyers volunteer to defend Kyari. Company tax increased to 472.07 billion naira in Q2, says NBS. And then Muhammad Gani Fawayimi's son dies at 52. That's all for Nigerian Tribune.
All right, those are the stories that made the front page of the papers today. Interesting stories, they really are. But just before I take a break so our next guest could hit the table, let's talk about Twitter. I'm interested in Twitter because Nigeria seems to have picked these grouse with Twitter over the period of time, that it took our dearest messaging app to establish its office in Ghana. And from that point till now, Nigerian government has seemed to be picking that, dealing with that issue on the opportunity just came out, they banned Twitter. And then they're promising that they will soon unban Twitter after losing about 169 billion naira.
Yes, Tumi Singh, how big bread tastes better in the mouth than bread that is not baked at all. Again, please let me just crave your indulgence to commiserate with the families of
Gani
Fawayimi. Muhammad passed on yesterday. I imagine if the dead can come back alive, Gani virtually was weeping on national television and radio when his son Muhammad, who just passed, had an accident. May his soul rest in peace. And may some of the pieces of Nigeria that we are trying to put together in terms of what you just asked me on Twitter get a focus and get a traction. 3 points I'll make. Very early in the Twitter ban Twitter suspension imbroglio, I had predicted on national television that it was just a matter of time before Twitter came back. I would rather, it's not that I don't trust my government, but maybe my body language really don't trust what comes out of government. I would rather like to hear from Twitter itself on the mileage reached, the agreements reached, on its coming back. Yes, the Minister for Information, Mr. Lai Mohammed, had told us that they are going to be back soon. How soon is soon?
How soon is soon?
How many of the boxes have been ticked? And I will only believe when Twitter eventually comes back fully to begin its operations. The third thing I'm going to say is that I think useful lessons have been learned from all sides. Again, the optics was not in favor of Nigeria when Mr. President's tweet was pulled down, and the reaction was slamming his nail with a sledgehammer. I think it was not necessary. I think
Slamming a snail
with a sledgehammer.
with a sledgehammer.
It was not necessary. All avenues of looking at that peculiar problem became an ego trip as far as I was concerned. And if that trailer was going to drag so many people in the mud, poor helpless people, including government itself, one of the downsides to it was that the Delta variant of COVID came, and the regularity that Twitter deployed in spreading the news about what was happening in Nigeria dwindled. Yes, I knew they were on Facebook and what have you, but at a particular point in time there was a law, not to talk of so many bloggers, so many newspaper houses, so many online publications that lost a lot of revenue. Having said that, that's not to say that we should not be patriotic. There's a saying where I come from that if your mother is a witch, sad as that sounds, you should not be one of those people that go up front and tell the whole world, my mother has witchcraft. Begin to make sure you deal with it, expose it according to law, but you should not now be the megaphone. Truth must be told that a few things happened that I felt that Twitter itself needed to have taken care of. Yes, people have argued that Twitter set up an office in Ghana. They fight Nigeria for obvious reasons because of our governance issues and because of our leadership issues. But they were recruiting, targeting at Nigeria as the prime market, and they were looking for people who could speak Igbo, Hausa, and Yoruba, based in Ghana. I have no problem. I don't have any problem with they taking a decision in respect to that. But if you made such humongous amount of revenue
From the country.
from this country, despite
the challenges that you
all those
assume.
challenges, I think patriotically, I will also say, for the optics of it, they needed to find their presence in Nigeria. And I've heard the minister say they have finally agreed to open, with fanfare, to open an office in Nigeria. That does not excite me. What are they coming back to Nigeria to find? Our state of insecurity, our planlessness. Yes, I say planlessness. The state of anomy that Nigeria has become, kidnapping, children being kidnapped daily, ransom, non-state actors coming into the fore. Unemployment and misery in Nigeria has risen to unprecedented levels, never before. we have faced. So they come, employ a couple of us. How does that help us? We must get back
a really, really tiny, minuscule group of
minuscule of us who, based on my experience of working with international companies, they will employ you there, but you may not be given the kind of respect that similar persons
in
of
their
your
own
qualification are given elsewhere, because Nigeria itself keeps on dirtying itself and dirtying its citizens. So all put together, I want to hear from Twitter. I don't want to do it one way. Let's hope this will come out well. The committee that was set up by government, I was impressed with some members of that committee, and I had predicted that something positive is going to come out.
Mr.
Let's see how it
Vasquez,
goes.
where I have a problem is when we start talking about the members of committees in Nigeria, the National Economic Council. I'm just throwing shades right now, and I'm really boldly. The National Economic Council that was set up by President Muhammadu Buhari a couple of years ago, that had the likes of Bismarck Rawani, Professor Doyin, and all of that in the committee, brought that kind of hope, as we say, and confidence. But have we not? Has inflation not almost doubled? Has dollar not almost? Are we doing more investments?
We used to have a
keep that response. Keep the response. We're going to respond to that in quite a while. But let's still talk about Twitter a little bit. Something made the front page of the papers today that I'd like to take on, because when they say young people, I mean, the majority of Twitter users are young people. Am I correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, if Twitter is used mostly by young people, and then I see somebody saying that this morning that experts want investments in indigenous messaging apps. You're a young person. How many indigenous messaging apps do we have in Nigeria? Have you heard of?
And a few. I know the normal popular ones are, well, like you say, indigenous what?
The Nigerian
Messaging app.
messaging apps like Twitter and Facebook.
Maybe we have SMS because we do not have that.
Did we invent that
At
anyway?
all. Not at all.
Okay, so when Nigerians invent apps, we have apps like the ones we use for maybe business, maybe.
Yeah, we have mobile business app like for startups.
For startups?
That's one I
know.
know that Nigerians have started. They started doing startup
Apps.
Apps, yes.
I know MITV has an app.
App too.
I know companies have apps generally, but messaging app.
We do not have that.
This guys, those guys that do recruitment, Jobberman, do they have an app?
No.
It's a platform, right?
It's a platform.
So I'm wondering where these experts get their the indigenous maybe they're calling on federal government to invest in young people, or in people,
Okay.
app development and all that. Are we, in your candid opinion, are we techie, Nigerians? Are we techie in terms of bringing out innovations, or are we techie in terms of using other people's innovations?
I'll say we're taking in terms of using other people's innovations, because most time, even when you have the idea here in Nigeria, you still need someone outside the country to help you push that brand, because we have that mentality that, when a white man gets involved in the business idea or the build up, then okay, he has experience, he has more ideas and all of that. But over time, Nigeria is advancing when it comes to technology. I can say I know a few people that are doing really well when it comes to tech, but even those few people that I still know of, they're still following the advanced tech that we have now, because they're still following that path line so they can push their own brand too. So I would say that we are good when it comes to using the developed,
The existing
ones.
But,
yeah.
but when we use, I mean, we are good users. Give it to us. We are innovative users.
True.
Oh my. We took TikTok and we turned TikTok into business, and now TikTok is almost monetized by a lot of people. Everybody wants to make money from TikTok now because Nigerians are using TikTok by the day. And you know
That's why most brands, when they want to do businesses, they always try to push into Nigeria, because they know once you have something that Nigerians like, one person can bring out the whole family to like your brand. The whole family can bring out extended families to like your brand. So Nigeria is one place that they know the marketplace is very good. If you have a good brand, Nigeria will patronize you. But look at how TikTok came. Everybody started doing TikTok videos, TikTok song, and it went viral. Do you know, as at now, even when Twitter was like being banned, people didn't really feel that effect because most people moved to TikTok when it comes to entertainment. Most people move to TikTok. You see trending videos. And then, luckily, there was this upcoming artist that just sang like 1+1 song, and it went viral to the extent that even white people had to start dancing to it. But when it came to entertainment anyway, I know that when Twitter was banned, people moved into TikTok, and it went a long way for them.
I like the fact that Onome just supported Mr. Fatunke somewhere there. I was saying that when it comes to using, we're very innovative people, and also if the market is here, I mean, Twitter has no business keeping us out of the scheme of things. Let's take this break. Our next guest joins us. I'd like to shake this table a little bit. Federal government wants to reintroduce toll plazas on our major highway, and I'm just asking the question. He left, he came, and left again, and now it's been brought back. 500 naira, 200 naira per trip. A worthy option to raise funds or to maintain our roads? Our guests get to tell us all of that when we return.
Age 14, they come carry me go. They said, oh, you could come and pack your load. Pack am kia on radio. I want omo geri and buy me fo. One Yankee boy, my bag baby yo. You're off to bring that passion where the most are paved with gold. To bado ke open so my fumi lowo. That is when you reach overseas and me do. I want boys up waking 17 bolo. Yeah, all canvas made by Nike. Tommy Hill figure, sweater, black jeans, toe baggy. Or wire me like 5 years, so homo you go for wifey. Quite unrealistic, but we didn't recognize it. Cause the fact is, where our mind is, we realized it. With the application of positivity and tactic, we knew that we had it. Those we applied it, to be honest, we're still at it.
Welcome back to the Bumper Breakfast. Of course, Mr. Akefatuke is still very much here with us this morning. Olatunji Malomo joins us next on the Bumper Breakfast, and he's a public affairs analyst. And then I'm scared, Mr. Akefatuke. I'm scared of men that keep no air on their head.
You know the reason why? Sign of wisdom. It comes out, keeps blazing. Don't be scared. It's going to give you stuff. I'm very sure.
I'm really looking forward to that stuff. I'm really looking forward to it. Good morning. Good to have you on the Bumper Breakfast.
Good morning.
Good to have you. I can see you brought your face mask.
Yes.
Which means you have not gotten fully vaccinated.
No, I've not.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the federal government. I love this our government. They are very, very apt when it comes to action. We've spent an average, Mr. Vasco can help me out. I mean, in the last 21 years of democracy, we've spent an average of maybe say, give or take, 8 years or 9 years fixing the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway cumulatively. And we're still fixing as we speak. Let's not talk about the humongous amount of money that has gone into that road. But while I was a child and I'm traveling to Ibadan, there were toll plazas and we used to pay. Now the federal government is planning to reintroduce toll plazas, meaning Nigerians will get to pay 500 naira, 200 naira per trip when they use those roads. Your opinion, candid opinion?
Well, it's a good thing if it's well managed.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing because some of the money generated from the toll fare can be used to repair the roads.
Okay.
That's if it's managed properly. And we know Nigeria, we know how we are, we have a lot of mismanagement in the country, and we have this lack of culture of maintenance. We don't maintain roads, we don't maintain anything. Look at the new airports, the new train stations they are building right now. I can tell you, if you go back 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you will see that they are not going to be in the same shape they are today because of lack of maintenance. In a lot of places where they build infrastructures like that, they will set aside some money for maintenance. And then that money will be kept in a trust fund whereby it will generate itself and then used for the repair of the infrastructure. Yes. So I think it's okay, it's everywhere, all over the world, they have
toll plazas
and tollways and toll gates and all that. So it's about time, only if they will use that money effectively to maintain the roads.
Use the money effectively to maintain the roads. Mr. Fatuke, from time past, has that been in our culture? Using the money effectively to maintain the roads?
Maybe in the days of our great-great-grandfathers, where you had the ethos of honesty, of character, of service, where accountability is more of a watchword than something with parrots. Where, for instance, you go out and dip your hands, mismanaged like my brother Tunji has said, and you are not rewarded. You are sanctioned. Things have turned around. So your question, has that been in our character? No. We have not only run down every conceivable enterprise that government has been in. Is it Nigeria Airways, Nigerian Railways, is it Nigerian Shipping Line? Is it the National Stadium where we should go and allow our
or even
youths?
the National Theatre?
Is it the arts? Is it the crafts? Is it education? Just tell me what it is that the Nigerian government and policy has supported. Now, what happens is that government has no business other than creating enabling environment, thinking long term, and thinking like the rest of the world thinks. The roads that we are talking about and the toll gates. Retired General Obasanjo came, found a lot of malfeasance, and in his wisdom decided to pull down those toll gates. Absolutely for that period. But should he have pulled down those toll gates? Should we not be looking at the Nigerian project and not just my regime project? That's exactly what has happened. So we have built with a lot of taxpayers' monies. We have used taxpayers' monies to pull those edifices down, and now we now wake up to now realize we are going to now use taxpayers' monies to put those edifices back
in place.
Somebody is laughing at us, derisively. For me, my challenge and my problem is not even falling down. As a small baby, you can fall down. You learn how to walk. You may. The more fundamental things is that we do not have the capacity, the administrative savvy, like Mr. Malamo has clearly said, he says he fears if it is properly done. We do not have it. Every avenue of government intervention will find, whether it's from the procurement, from the administration, from
Administration of justice too.
the legal backing, it's such that there will always be something under the cupboard. I am afraid to tell you, Madam Tomisi, that I hope I'm proving wrong, like Awolowo will always say. But everything portends the fact that this is another fruitless venture to deprive me, deprive you, deprive every other person, put money into other people's pockets so that they can fly to different places.
But you know, it baffles
But
me.
it is a
because-
good point that he says. Every good point. Thank God the air we breathe is not being controlled. Otherwise, Nigerians will have put toll gates into our bridge.
The council approved, that's the Federal Executive Council approved to reintroduce this on the dual carriageways of about 35,000 kilometers of federal roads. Brings me to something Mr. Patike just mentioned. Would they be properly managed? Which was the last statement you made as well. Let's come to Lagos and take Lagos, for example. The Lekki Ajah Road. There are 2 toll gates there. The LCC had managed it for these number of years, and it looked as if everything was running fine. Now the Lagos State House of Assembly has just approved that this toll gate be taken over by the state government.
Not be taken over, be bought
Be
over.
by the state government.
There's a difference in
Do
that.
you see that toll being well managed? I'm just saying, Lagos
Well-
is the shining example for things like
Yes, shining example in the darkness, in a way.
that. Shining example in darkness.
Darkness, because the books of the LLC is
CC.
not LCC is not known to anybody. We don't know who's running it. We don't know how much they generate every year, every day, every month. We don't know. We don't know how they are sharing the profit. If it's a private
What
company.
comes to Lagos or what doesn't?
Exactly. We don't know. So the story of Lagos toll gate it has a peculiarity that's just for Lagos, which doesn't really have much to do with the federal.
Definitely.
Because, you have the states and LCC buying. There was a time they said they sold it to LCC. Lagos State bought it back. Now they are saying that
They want to buy
Lagos
it.
State want to buy it back. And I was just listening to TV yesterday, watching TV, and they said they denied it, that they are not buying it over. So they should just let the public know
Exactly
are
what
doing
they
with the
intend
toll
to
gate,
do.
what they intend to do with the toll gate, you know. If tomorrow another government comes in now and look at the books of LCC and the operation of LCC between Lagos State and House of Assembly, a lot of worms will come out. It's a Pandora box that nobody really want to open. And once you open it, you find all kind of malfeasance, all kind of fraud going on in that toll gate. Just like my brother said, that we are used to all these grandiose projects, but without plan on how,
without plan.
and the money will be going to somebody's pocket, some people's pocket. That's why the former president pulled the toll gates down. But now, if it's not in the hand of governments, the government cannot be in the business of running a business. You know, well, they don't have no business in running any business. What they should have done is send out a proposal, or what they call it, a tender for who will build it and who will operate it and where the money will go to. And those people will be funding it. They are the one that
Now,
will be doing
remitting the
maintenance.
money back to the government.
Back to the government. How many accounts? How many bank accounts? To whose accounts? They have the TSA, but the cash is coming from them. Before the cash gets to TSA or whatever, where does it go? We don't know. They need to let us know how they will operate this toll gate, where the money will go, and where the money is coming from building these toll gates. Who are the companies behind closed door that are running these businesses? they should tell us.
Thank God, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola, the Minister of Works and Housing, did tell us that it's not a project that will start tomorrow. And it's a project that will likely start soon, but not tomorrow. So at least we have that one. Let's talk about youth innovation. It's International Youth Day, and across the world today, people are talking about youth. But I saw a story on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Simply read, the Nigerian youths have gotten, into cybercrime, gambling and cybercrime to escape exclusion. The Nigerian youth of today, looks for quick money, whether it's by the way of cheap popularity or it's by the way, they're going to come for me, or it's by the way of some form of drugging, internet business, internet fraud, and all that. It has become a problem for the rest of the world. Unfortunately, they even killed it further by saying that 1 in every unemployed youth, 1 in every 6 in the world, not in Nigeria, is a Nigerian youth. 1 in every 6 unemployed youth in the world is a Nigerian.
It has to be because real and latent unemployment, that is real, and those who are just struggling, is climbed up to the 2 digits, over 50%. That is mystery. I'd like to also say that I want to add to the agony and the mystery that today in 2021, Youth Day, our youths and our boarding youths are being kidnapped, their parents are paying ransom, and we seem not to be able to do anything. Our girls are captured, made into sex slaves. We all know all these are going on, and those who rule us are behaving. Obviously, they do not have a clue as to what to do. So everybody just seems to be going their way. However, I have also, in all honesty, seen youths who have pulled themselves up by the bootstrings. Technological innovation, we were talking about that earlier. Just waiting for the youths to get into our Silicon Valleys. Whether it's in Abuja, there is one in Abuja. There is actually one that we had in Akwa Ibom State that was pilloried and encouraged by FDI from foreign companies injecting in there. They are all the carcass now. So what has now happened? I'm going to talk of computer center. Go out there and you will see this innovation to the extent that Mark Zuckerberg will now then come, not necessarily because of the market. Yes, the market and it's the money, but the fact that we are seeing a lot of innovations, we are seeing a lot of hospobbies that will come and do inverse tech. Why? Because the youths are now saying, Mr. Malomo, you are doing your own. Promising you are doing your own. You are not carrying about me. So let me also now just take care of myself. And then we had our rulers, I believe that has now been regretted, that they say lazy youths. And they are manifesting that laziness. See what happened in the local government elections. Big Brother Africa, you tweet, you are happy to be there, but you are not going to come out for showing yourself at elections. It portends something that is really not positive to Nigeria, and it's a manifestation in all coloration, irrespective of how you look at it, of a failed state, and that is the truth. Yes, we'll not go back to God and say it should not be, but we go back to God and say it should not be. We do everything in the reverse. Nigeria has sunk, and the only set of people who can retrieve this are these same youths that we must now harness, we must encourage. Yes, they will fall down, we must lift them up, they must get mentors, they must get, and those mentors will have been, I said it before, somebody like you told me, you now look at yourself, you okay? Yes, a mentor like you in what you are doing to encourage them to expose the ills of society. I know you are doing your job, but I know when you do your community thing, do you know how many people get to see it and say, really? If she can do it, so I can also do it.
Coming back to you, cybercrime is one of the biggest issues that we are currently facing. Unfortunately, I don't think the government is doing enough in terms of intervention to prevent this. We just keep talking about DSS picking them, EFCC catching them, recovering one thing. What are we doing? It looks as if Nigerian youths need rehabilitation. I don't get it.
It goes back to the government, what drove them into crime?
In the
What
first
is driving in the first place? What's driving them is because the government, the parents have neglected them. Some parents don't even know when their children wake up in the morning. They don't know when they go to sleep. They don't know how many friends they bring into the house. So we need re-engineering of the youth. Just like re-engineering of the youth, of the children. The way they go to school from the primary school to the secondary school. They need to re-engineer and talk to them. We need a lot of mentors, like he said. Nigerian youths are the most resilient. They are the most innovative in the world, if given the chance to prosper. Government, university are not doing enough research. They need to do research whereby they will identify talented youths and then bring them up, and government will fund them, will fund the project, be it in computers, be it in automobile, in electricity, on anything, electronics. They can do all that. But when there's no financial backing from the government, then those kids, they will forget about their innovation and move with the crowd and what the trends are of the day. In the 70s, there are so many crimes in the 70s, like what they call that, RNG and all that stuff. In the 80s, they have their own crime. In the 90s, they have it. Now in 2021, it's cybercrime, it's Yahoo and all that. Even if you see a 12-year-old now, if you ask him what's he going to do, he will tell you he wants to be a Yahoo.
He wants to be a Yahoo.
Because they are all glorified.
It has almost become a job. It has almost become, I'm serious. Yeah. You almost hear things like, what job does your brother do? My brother is working, he's a Yahoo boy.
It's a Yahoo boy. Yes.
It's almost a job, and I'm just wondering what exactly we need to do. How do we get the Nigerian youth, the average Nigerian youth, to take, despite all of these peculiar challenges, that we've identified, how do we get the average Nigerian youth to, because if you talk about engineering, it cannot happen. Re-engineering, I don't know how.
Re-engineering is identifying them, what talents do
they
you
already
have?
know.
What talent do you have? And then government can support
doing
them.
skits is what they are doing. Do you know how many Nigerians are doing skits now? Do you know how many Nigerian women, men, mothers abroad, Nigeria, everywhere are doing skits? People are making a fool. Gone were the days when our parents were really, really touche and cultured and very, very posh, polite.
Yes.
Now, Nigerian youths display all kinds of misbehavior on social media in the name of cheap popularity.
And I'd like to say also that a synonym to the re-engineering is reorientation of the mind,
exactly.
The reorientation of the body, of the soul, the reorientation of the Nigerian, the Nigerian state, the restructure of the Nigerian state. What is Yahoo Yahoo? What is cybercrime? What does it manifest? Why, like you said, Sigmund Freud will tell you, the psychoanalyst will say, yes, don't look at the end product, look at the causative factors.
Exactly.
Are you telling me, is anybody going to sit down and tell me that those we are electing, those who are ruling us from the local government to state assemblies, to national assembly, to state governors, to presidency, are not cyber crimers scheming us in the open, and we see it and nothing can be done about it, and they are flaunting it? And so balance of terror I'm not advocating for, yes, balance of terror. If a thief comes into your house and slaps you, shoots you, rapes you, and then you say, what is this? Am I going to get justice? You don't get justice. They come back 4 years after to come and rape you, and under the same system. Somebody that has not a pin suddenly is now saying that he's helped people and they are building houses where professors, where doctors, where nurses at the front line are being paid 5,000 naira per annum.
Hazard allowance.
So you have given these youths no other orientation but to say, yes, let's just go out there and go and do the wrong thing. Now, having said that, what we need to do, we need a total reorientation of the Nigerian system and Nigerian state.
Will
One
the
thing.
restructuring Nigerians are calling for
One
do the
thing.
job?
One thing. How can you say to me, Singh, that you want to manage? Okay, I want to give you 100,000 naira. Go and do business or whatever it is, but I'm interested in what returns that business will come, how many people are going to employ, right? Come back to me next year, and I should be proud to give you 500,000 naira because you doubled.
Yes.
You doubled that.
The investment.
But you know what your problem is? Have all the brains in the world. You are not likely to succeed because you cannot manage what you cannot measure. Who are you going to be looking at? How many of us are there? How many are girls? How many are boys? Are we counting? Do we have a count? Can we count? Do you have any statistics that you can depend on? Everything that we have just been doing politics, we are going to say we are this population. We are not measuring ourselves. So it's a total overhaul. Go to that computer center. Look, try this. Not okay. Let's try this, Nigerians. You bring your 50 naira. Let him bring his own 50 naira. Let's crowdfund and let's get 100,000 naira under an administration of somebody who knows what to do in terms of administration. He will get to that computer center. He will bring out geniuses that in the next 3, 4, 5 years will return multifold. Just pick about 50 of them.
Just a few.
Just pick those 50 of them and then send them out. That's what is going to happen. But when you don't just say, just throw, see the way we are throwing money around, that at the end of the day, even IDP camps are being looted by people who are supposed to be giving them food. So we need a total overhaul, a total reorientation, and we must continue to speak to the youths. Yes, the elderly
We want to continue to speak to the
failed
youth.
them,
Might have or
it-
have failed them. I've been abusing your generation, Mr.
might
Rodriguez, since
have
Monday.
failed them, but it is yours.
Did you just say
It is
might?
yours.
The word might is a very mild word. Might have or would or confirmed.
Because there are elderly people that have their heads properly screwed. And
Okay.
all you just need is just look at them as very good examples.
So maybe we just call them generational problems. So let's just say your generation has failed the Nigerian youth. And
your own generation is succeeding. Tell me in what area your own is succeeding. Your generation is still looking at us and still saying, Daddy, Mommy, Father, Mother, I don't have a job. I said, look, I'm a pensioner. That's why I don't know. You brought me to this world. Go and look for a way out for me.
because that's exactly what my generation is doing. Daddy, mommy, so they say some politicians have, eating their children.
No, they don't say eating. They've whacked. That's the word.
Whacked.
They whack. When you whack the food and you take the plate,
And you
degrade it and you swallow it.
Exactly.
That's exactly what is happening to
some
Nigeria.
politicians have eaten, even they've whacked even the food that their great grandchildren are supposed to eat already. And so they've left nothing for even they've left no crumbs for the children of the poor and their grandchildren and great grandchildren to meet by the side of the floor. Today is all about youth innovation, and that's what the United Nations is talking about. How can youth innovation help to boost human health, human growth, and Nigerian youths are innovative. Let's give it to them.
They are innovative.
Nigerian youths
Yes.
are really innovative. If we are this innovative, and we keep saying government, mentorship you've mentioned, government intervention, re-engineering, orienting them
Orientation.
is part of the things you've mentioned. But please, who will fund some of these innovations when they come up with it? Like we were talking earlier, Nigerian youths create apps.
Yes.
Who will fund it?
Yeah.
Becomes a problem. So they sell it and then